red on-air light above the studio door looked like a tiny, bleeding eye staring down the hallway of KTPU FM. Outside, the Texas night was the color of a bruised plum. July heat pressed against the concrete walls like a wet hand. Inside, the basement studio was cold, filled with the hum of the mixing console, the soft clicking of the automation system, and the stale smell of coffee. It was 2:15 a.m. on a Tuesday in July 2005. My name is Leo. I was 18 years old, working the graveyard shift from midnight until 6. KTPU was a small college radio station buried beneath the studio union, and my show, the midnight shift, was 6 hours of music and occasional conversation. Most nights, nobody listened. I liked it that way. Then the bleed started. It happened 3 weeks into my summer job. I was playing the White Stripes when I heard something beneath the guitar. At first, I thought it was interference. Then I heard scratching, low and rhythmic, like fingernails dragging across burlap. I leaned toward the console. A voice suddenly emerged beneath the music.
And if you're just tuning in across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the temperature at midnight is sitting at a cool, comfortable 104 degrees.
I froze. The voice sounded old-fashioned, with the boxy fidelity of an analog radio broadcast.
Stick around. We've got REO Speedwagon coming up after this quick word from Budweiser.
I turned up the monitor. REO Speedwagon? That made no sense. Our station played alternative rock. I checked the frequency. 91.5 FM. Our frequency. The voice belonged to KZAS, a classic rock station that had disappeared in 1982 after its license was revoked. I stared at the master rack. Everything was normal. The automation computer was playing a 1990s playlist. The CD player was idle. Nothing was transmitting except the scheduled music. Yet the old broadcast was coming directly through my headphones.
That was Keep On Loving You,
the announcer said. I looked at the clock. 2 a.m.
Coming up at 12:02, local civil defense is reminding residents to keep their windows closed and stay indoors. Power grids are holding steady, folks, but conservation is key. Don't run those AC units below 78, or we're looking at rolling blackouts from Amarillo to Houston.
I told myself it was some bizarre radio artifact. Maybe atmospheric conditions were bouncing an old signal through the station's equipment. The next night, it returned. Exactly at 2 a.m. Same voice, same station, same announcer. He introduced himself as Fast Eddie Miller and played Journey, AC/DC, and Pat Benatar. I sat motionless, watching the VU meters twitch in time with music recorded before I was born. On the third night, everything changed. Texas had become unbearably hot. Temperatures had reached 105 degrees after midnight, and the air conditioner in the basement wheezed like an old man. At exactly 2, Fast Eddie returned. But he didn't sound amused anymore.
We've got an update from the National Weather Service,
he said. His voice trembled.
The advisory area has been extended. Dallas is reporting 118. San Antonio's hitting 12-1.
I slowly removed my headphones, then put them back on.
Authorities are asking citizens to check on their neighbors. The county morgues are at capacity.
A pause.
If you're experiencing power failure, do not leave your homes.
His voice dropped lower.
The pavement is buckling on I-35.
Then I heard it. I stared at the speakers. Again, like someone striking a wooden door with an iron pipe.
Eddie?
I whispered. He continued.
We have reports coming out of Harris County. Over 1,700 confirmed.
Another bang.
If you can hear us, please keep your receivers tuned.
He paused.
Don't turn them off.
The banging became faster.
If you turn them off, you're alone in the dark.
A woman's scream suddenly tore through the broadcast. She screamed through static. Then the signal erupted into white noise. The VU meter slammed into the red. I ripped off my headphones. Silence. The real studio returned. The air conditioner rattled. My computer continued playing the Cranberries as though nothing had happened. For the rest of the week, I avoided the console whenever 2 o'clock approached. But I could still hear it. Every night. Classic rock, muffled voices, the banging, sometimes screaming, always coming from somewhere beneath the floor. Then Friday came, my last night on the graveyard shift. Curiosity finally overcame fear. At 1:55 a.m., I powered up the auxiliary receiver and tuned it directly to 91.5. At exactly 2, the speakers came alive. There was no music, only static. A deafening wall of white noise. Then came voices. Hundreds of them. Men, women, children, screaming, crying, begging, whispering. Some sounded as though they were right beside the microphone. Others seemed impossibly far away.
Can't breathe.
A man's voice rasped through the static.
God, please, the air is too thick.
A woman began sobbing.
The power's out. The transformer blew. It's pitch black.
She coughed. Something wet and horrible followed. Then Fast Eddie spoke. But it wasn't the same man anymore. His voice was dry and cracked, like something that had been buried inside a furnace.
The temperature is now 12,000 degrees.
I stared at the speakers.
And we are live, folks.
The static grew louder.
We have been on the air for 25 years. We never left.
I reached toward the master switch. My fingers stopped an inch above it. Something had moved behind me. The heavy wooden studio door began to rattle. Once, twice, I couldn't breathe. I had locked that door from the inside. I knew I had. The handle slowly turned. The door opened. I didn't look behind me. The smell reached me first. Scorched dust, burned metal, something stale and putrid. Then footsteps crossed the linoleum. Slow, heavy. They stopped behind my left shoulder.
You're running long on station ID, Leo.
The voice was no longer coming through the speakers. It was inside my head.
We can't have dead air.
A pause.
The sponsors get nervous.
The screaming stops.
A hand entered my field of vision. The skin was the color of burned parchment. Deep cracks ran across it, leaking dark fluid. The fingernails were gone, replaced by blackened stumps. The hand settled on my shoulder. Heat exploded through me. My shirt began to smoke.
Please.
I whispered. My voice barely worked.
I'm not from 1980.
Fast Eddie leaned closer. I could feel heat against my ear.
Nobody is anymore.
His breath smelled like scorched iron and stale beer.
Once the pavement buckles,
Nobody gets to leave the frequency.
He reached around me. His blistered fingers wrapped around the master fader. Then he pushed it all the way into the red. The speakers exploded. Not with music, but with screams of people and some sort of animal or creatures. Then thousands of voices poured from the monitors at once. The console sparked violently. Blue electricity crawled across the controls and wrapped around my arms. My muscles locked as the current surged through me and into the copper wiring beneath the mixing board. I tried to scream. Superheated air rushed into my lungs. My throat burned. The room disappeared behind a wall of white light. Then everything stopped. The red on-air light flickered once, twice, and went black. For a moment, there was absolute silence. Then a voice came through the dead console. A young voice, terrified, confused. A young man's voice.
Hello?
Static crackled behind him.
Is anybody there?
He sounded exactly like me. The voice trembled.
It's 2 a.m. on Tuesday, July.
He stopped. There was a long silence. Then he whispered.
Why is it suddenly so hot?
I understood then. The broadcast wasn't coming from 1980. It wasn't a recording. It wasn't a ghost trapped inside an old radio station. It was a warning traveling backward through time. And the screams weren't the people who had died 25 years ago. They were the people who were going to die 25 years from now, including me. The static returned. And somewhere beyond the dead microphone, Fast Eddie began laughing. My future voice screamed. The transmission continued. And for the first time, I realized the terrible truth. The broadcast had never been warning us about the future. It had been recreating the past.